Very good morning to you once again, and welcome to the last hour of Newsfeed AM. Let's take you to this developing story now. The Tshwane City Council sitting. It is due to elect a speaker. The Multiparty Coalition has nominated ActionSA's Kholofelo Morodi. This is for the position, while the ANC says it's supporting a candidate from the ATM. Mbali Thethani is there for us, and she joins us live now. Mbali, good morning to you. A bit of a fracas at the start of this meeting. Tell us what happened.
That's certainly right, Koli. Just before we broke off now, we just saw a bit of commotion coming out from the benches of the ANC and charging against those on the benches of ActionSA. And much of the morning has also been dealing with, of course, the action that ActionSA took against some of its councillors and putting them through a lie detector test. And of course, from the benches of the ANC and the EFF, they also spoke out against that, saying that, of course, people have a right to vote in whichever member they want, even though they are deployed by their party. So just before we broke off, we also saw somebody from the ActionSA's benches saying, "Shut up," to members of the ANC. But just to give us a bit of more insight in terms of, one would say, is this delaying tactics that we are seeing here in the council this morning? We're joined by the DA's Cilliers Brink in this council. What took place before we saw now council breaking off for at least 2 hours?
This is so very unfortunate, because most people watching this just want this council to move on, to have a speaker, to have a mayor, to focus on service delivery and the financial sustainability of the city. But if you did the count, Mbali, if you actually counted the heads there, the ANC and the EFF and their cronies don't have the numbers at the moment in council. So they started shouting at ActionSA councillors, pointing fingers, physical intimidation. I mean, this is the type of politics that we're now used to in Tshwane. People physically getting up off of their seats, pointing fingers, shouting at members of the other side. And whatever ActionSA or the DA or whatever responded, it was in a peaceful manner. So violence and intimidation is now a feature of the politics, because the ANC and the EFF don't have the numbers at the moment.
Another name that keeps on coming to the fore is, of course, the name of Nkele Molapo. We saw this morning ActionSA saying that they've terminated her membership. And, of course, she's not here this morning, and basically saying that this is a witch hunt that's being done by your coalition partners.
So ActionSA must speak to their own internal processes, but the point is there's always party discipline. There's always party discipline. The ANC has party discipline. The EFF has party discipline. In fact, the highest turnover of members of parliament that we've ever seen comes from the EFF, who are now so very concerned about ActionSA's internal processes. It's rubbish. This is an attempt to sabotage governance in Tshwane. It's got nothing to do with natural justice or their supposed concern for members of ActionSA. These are sabotage tactics.
The last time we were here, you were supposed to be voted in as the mayor. You are saying today the ANC and the EFF do not have the numbers. The last time they didn't have the numbers, and we saw, a Murunwa Makwarela being voted in. What do you have to say about the numbers game here? Do you think that this time around that your members, the members of your party, will back your candidate from the benches of ActionSA?
So I've got no doubt that we will back the candidate for Speaker here today. We're confident that we can do it. But of course, there can never be guarantees in politics, because as we have discussed, the risk of people being bribed and influenced under the table in back rooms always exists, especially with a secret ballot. But that's why the internal party discipline and the measures taken by ActionSA and the DA and the other parties in the coalition are so important. It's not a witch hunt. It is a way of keeping our promise to the voters. None of these councillors were elected on a ticket of bringing the ANC back to power in Tshwane. None of these councillors were elected to bring an EFF stooge or some other stooge back to power in Tshwane. And so the internal party discipline is simply a matter of keeping our promise to the people of Tshwane.
And should we see ActionSA's member being voted in as a speaker today, one would say that, are you confident that this time around you can take up the position of mayor in the city of Tshwane?
There are no guarantees in politics, but I'm here, I'm fighting. I am confident that I and the Multiparty Coalition will outlast the disruptive tactics of the other side.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is Silas Brink, and he is a councillor here in the city of Tshwane, coming from the benches of the DA. And we are now joined by the Speaker in the Johannesburg Council. Her name is Colleen Makubele. Colleen, it's back to the drawing board for you as the opposition, and specifically speaking about COPE. The last time we had a speaker coming out from the COPE's benches, but this time around there was a bit of drama there when it comes to your member, Umurunwa Makwarela.
Yes, we are picking up the pieces as Congress of the People, and I must say that now that our heads are cooler and we're thinking rationally after the Friday debacle, we have actually come up with candidates that we are looking at. Our leadership is meeting as we speak to look at the 2-3 CVs that we have, because COPE is not short of credible councillors that can stand, and become a candidate for being a councillor. Not only that, but it's a candidate that must stand as a mayoral candidate for the city of Johannesburg. Because one thing that we managed to achieve with our partners here in Tshwane is that we have agreed that the mayoral chain, the mayoral chair, the mayoral mandate will remain with the Congress of the People, and we appreciate them for that confidence, because they also recognize that it's not a party really that was at fault. This was a behavior of an individual who held office within the party and within the city of Johannesburg. So it's not a reflection of the Congress of the People. We are strengthening our internal processes, and even other parties have come to us to say, look, this has also enlightened us. We are also looking back into our vetting processes. Now we know better. If somebody says, I've been in this situation, how do you deal with it? What kind of questions do you ask? What processes must be in place to ensure that you have ticked all the boxes? Because collectively we are being enlightened. We are now understanding the dynamics of coalitions as well. On top of it, it's fierce competition. People are playing much dirtier than when it was a one-party majority that was ruling. So it's a lot of learning and growing and expansion. But we are very, very excited that our partners have confidence in us. We are narrowing on a candidate. We'll be announcing very soon and swearing him in so that he can come or she can come and be the mayor of the city of Joburg and champion service delivery.
Do you think as COPE that you cost this coalition you are part of, the ANC and the EFF a lot?
Look, I don't think there's a question around that. Yes, we did cost them, and of course, I won't say as a Congress of the People, and we have managed to reach that conclusion as a collective, that the individual has cost all of us, because the crisis, it has been cost on COPE, cost on our partners, cost on the progress that was made, in terms of Tshwane advancing to take over the government and lead and provide services for the residents. It has set us all back a lot, but be that as it may, we are ready now to bounce back. We have gathered our strength once again. We are now putting in the right candidate, and one thing that we are doing with these candidates now is that we're involving our partners this time around as well, over and above our own internal vetting processes. We said to our partners, we'll give you 2 or 3 CVs that you are also going to look at collectively, because this person is not a COPE councillor only. This person is a mayor for everybody. This person must represent the values, the morals, the conduct, the merits that we want to be proud of as a collective and as a city of Tshwane. So they will have an opportunity to look and say, look, yeah, this one will prefer that, etc. And we'll take that collective decision, and we'll make sure we tick all the dots and all the I's that needs to be ticked, etc. But most importantly, we're always emphasizing there's a code of conduct that we all adhere to. If an individual departs from that, then it becomes a problem, and you can't control the behavior of a person a year from now, 2 years from now. So there's always that element of risk that you may not totally close, even with all the vetting. We see it with banks all the time. They deal with fraud, even within their employees or outside, and they're constantly improving their processes, their policies, etc. So it's the same in political organizations as well.
The DA Silas Brink here saying that what we are seeing, the commotion that we saw just a few minutes ago, is just a matter of delaying the processes which are yet to unfold, and they are saying that they have the numbers. Last time you managed to convince some of the members in that multi-party coalition. Do you think that this time around, even though the last time they voted with the ANC and the EFF, seeing that COPE member ascending to mayorship, do you think that you will be able to continue to sway those you swayed the last time to vote with you today?
Look, I don't think it's even Brink is dreaming. I don't think he'll ever see that mayoral seat that he's hoping for, because their own parties are in tatters, more crisis than what we're facing as COPE. We've identified an element, we've dealt with it. They are in a crisis because they don't even know what it is that they should be looking at within their own parties. They just have different ideologies. They've got people from different backgrounds that are really unhappy with the leadership. They're unhappy with what is happening both within DA and ActionSA. They're busy paging black people and doing all sorts of stuff. So consciously, the people that are supposed to vote are not with them. That tells you that the leadership that is within those parties is really lacking. It has been found wanting. They have not been able to pull their caucuses together. They have not been able to put forth a manifesto or convincing political stance that caters for a diverse population. And this is where they are missing it. They can point at ANC, EFF, but when a councillor sits alone in that booth, they think about, what does this cross mean for me, my community? Is the DA serving the township? Are they serving informal settlement? Are they serving me? Does my child have bread on the table? Do I have job? Do I have a son who can go to work today? No, the DA is not interested in that. ActionSA is not interested in that, because they are not pro-black, they are not pro-poor, they are not serving the residents and the communities that the councillors are representing. And that's the core of their issue. And if they don't solve those things, we don't even have to convince anybody. Anyone who goes into that booth and they understand where they come from, who they are, and what this country is about, and what the plight of a black person in this country is about, will vote the right way, and they will vote the right party to be in the mayoral position.
Kelo Mulapo from ActionSA, her membership has been terminated. The likes of the Multiparty Coalition are saying that you had pinned your hopes on her vote today. You know, will you be limping going into this election?
There were 8 votes from the multi-party the last time. They only dealt with one, and whether she was there or not, they did lie detector test. I think, like I said, instead of trying to find all these tricks and blaming and deflecting in their usual style, they should be looking internally to say what it is. Even if they bring another person tomorrow, they will find the same mess within their parties. They will find the same dissatisfaction within the policies of the party, the same dictatorship spirit within the party, and they will behave the same way. So paging this one, bringing another, thinking this one is influenced. The leaders that are in this council, and same as Joburg, they are not children, they are not young people. These are leaders of communities. They think, they deal with real issues every day, and they have to process and make judgment calls. So they are not people that you are going to force down their throat and impose on them, to say, do this, do that. No, those days of political party mandate, this, otherwise, they're over. This is modern politics. You have to be able to have robust discussions, convince one another, put policies and practical programs in place that convinces me that this is my party that I must support. And things like this is only the beginning. Soon we are going to have to understand that politics are no longer party line. They are about what is the objective. Are we fit for purpose? Are we meeting the... You see all over the world, coalitions are changing daily because they know and they've matured enough to say if somebody votes with that, it doesn't mean you must fire them, do lie detectors. It means you have to look within yourself and say what it is that can we improve to make sure that this person buys into the vision. And that's leadership.
Thank you very much. That is Colleen Makubele. She is the speaker in the Johannesburg Council. A lot of coming out of here, Toli, I must say that one would say that when you look into the election that will take place today, one would also be keenly interested to see that those who voted with the ANC and the EFF the last time will continue then to vote, of course, to support the opposition in this House. You'd also know that the vote of the Speaker as well as the Mayor and the Chief Whips, those are all done through secret ballots. So we also know that there are 2 names which have come out so far. One, a representative from ATM, and that is a name that the ANC and the EFF are supporting, and as well as the candidate from the benches of ActionSA. So it will be quite interesting to see whether we can still begin to see that voting process being conducted as soon as this House reconvenes, and we understand that councillors are expected back in these chambers at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Mbali Thethani, thank you very much for that update live for us at the Tshwane Council chambers.